For 70 years, the Earthship Odyssey had been nothing more than a name lost in the void. It was one of humanity's first deep space exploration vessels, launched during a time when humans still believed they were alone. Its mission was to cross the edge of the known galaxy and report what lay beyond. But one day, all signals vanished. The last transmission had been short and confusing, a whisper of coordinates that led nowhere. After that, silence. Everyone assumed the crew was gone forever. Generations passed. Humanity changed. Technology advanced. New colonies spread across distant systems. Yet among the stars, Odyssey remained a ghost story, a legend told to cadets and children who dreamed of space. No one ever expected it to return. Then, one quiet rotation near Jupiter's orbit, the impossible happened. A long-range sensor picked up something moving toward the solar system. At first, it seemed like an asteroid, but when the data stabilized, the truth froze every technician who saw it. The object matched the Odyssey's design exactly. The ship had reappeared. No one could believe it. Its coordinates placed it near the old path it had once taken, as if it had never stopped moving. Yet the readings showed something stranger. Its hull emitted unknown energy signatures unlike anything from Earth's archives. Its engines were active, running on a power source that didn't exist in human science. When the automated tugs brought the ship into high orbit around Mars, scientists and military observers gathered. Cameras revealed a structure both familiar and alien. The old ship's frame was still there, but it was changed, rebuilt, reshaped, as if touched by hands not human. Parts of its hull shimmered with metallic patterns that moved like living circuits. No human engineer could have made that. The ship's registry confirmed it was the Odyssey. Same serial number, same markings aged by decades of cosmic dust. But what returned was not the same ship that had left. Something had happened to it in the deep darkness beyond human reach. Inside the ship, automated drones found no human life. The crew was gone, no bodies, no suits, not even DNA traces. It was as if every human on board had vanished completely. Yet the logs told a different story. The last recorded entries were recent, just 3 days before re-entry. Someone or something had been updating the system. The logs mentioned destinations and star systems that didn't exist on any known maps. The power core was another mystery. Instead of fusion reactors, the ship pulsed with an energy field that defied analysis. Instruments couldn't measure it properly. Whenever scientists tried to probe deeper, their equipment overloaded. It was as though the ship itself didn't want to be understood. People across Earth and the colonies began to whisper again. Some said the Odyssey had found another civilization. Others believed it had crossed into another dimension. Conspiracy channels went wild. Theories about time dilation, alien abductions, or secret human experiments filled every network feed. But deep inside, the officials who studied the ship felt something even more unsettling. Fear. The Odyssey was changing. Each day, its hull adjusted slightly, like a living organism repairing itself. The strange metal grew in new directions, forming symbols and shapes that matched no known language. Thermal scans showed heat signatures pulsing from within the hull, similar to heartbeats. The ship was alive. Then came the second discovery. Hidden in the cargo bay, beneath layers of alien material, scientists found an object, small, round, and glowing with the same strange light. It was a sphere floating in midair, surrounded by a low hum that vibrated through the entire hangar. When brought near any human-made device, the sphere caused it to activate on its own. Machines obeyed it, as if the sphere carried a silent command over technology itself. The officials decided to secure it, but security systems failed again and again. The sphere could shut down any circuit, override any system, and restart them in ways that improved performance. It wasn't destructive, it was corrective, as if it understood how technology should truly function. Whispers began that the Odyssey didn't just come back, it brought something back with it. Something not meant for human hands. Governments argued in secret meetings. Should the ship be destroyed or studied? Some feared that whatever had rebuilt it might still be watching. Space observatories across the galaxy were ordered to track for unknown signals. They found them. Patterns of coded bursts echoing from deep space, all focused on Earth's coordinates. The same signal repeated across systems, and an invitation or a warning. Meanwhile, the scientists kept working. They managed to access the deeper logs of the Odyssey, encrypted beyond standard systems. The data revealed coordinates to an uncharted region, a black zone where no known star existed. The logs called it Origin Point. Whoever had written those words had tagged them with the name of the ship's captain, Commander Elias Grant, a man born over a century ago. How could a captain dead for generations write something just days old? The mystery deepened when DNA residue was found on the control panels. Human DNA, but not from any record in Earth's database. It was too perfect, too refined, as if evolved beyond natural design. It had no genetic flaws, no signs of aging. The discovery shocked everyone. What had the Odyssey encountered? Theories grew darker. Perhaps the crew had been transformed. Perhaps they were no longer human in any way Earth understood. Or maybe the ship itself had absorbed them. Their minds fused into its systems. Whatever the truth was, it wasn't human science anymore. Then one day the ship acted on its own. Without command or input, it powered its engines and transmitted a signal, a simple pattern repeating endlessly in binary. The translation chilled everyone. We have returned. The stars remember. The signal spread through every communication network, even those disconnected from the main systems. No firewall stopped it. Every device on Earth displayed the same message for 10 seconds before shutting down. Then everything returned to normal, except for one thing. Every AI system, every machine linked to human control began to run smoother, smarter, more efficient. The world didn't understand why. But the Odyssey had done something permanent. Experts tried to disconnect the ship, isolate it, contain it. But each attempt failed. It was as if the ship knew what they were planning. Then, surveillance footage captured something that made the entire control team freeze. Inside the observation bay, a human silhouette appeared on the bridge of the Odyssey. It wasn't recorded entering, and no life signs were detected before. The figure moved slowly, turning toward the cameras. Its face was obscured, but its eyes glowed faintly blue, the same color as the sphere's light. The figure raised a hand. The ship's systems responded instantly, releasing another pulse of energy. Across the Mars base, power surged, lights flickered, and every human who looked at the screen swore they heard a whisper inside their minds. A calm, human voice saying one sentence. Humanity was not abandoned. We were chosen. After that, the Odyssey went silent again. The silhouette vanished. The ship powered down, but its strange energy remained stable. Nothing else moved, yet everyone felt it was waiting. Not asleep, just patient. Whispers began once more, this time among those who had witnessed it directly. The Odyssey had brought something back. Not just technology, but knowledge, or perhaps a message from a place beyond human understanding. What it truly carried, no one could tell. But deep within its metal heart, the ship was alive, aware and watching. The scientists knew one thing for certain. This was not the end. The Odyssey had returned for a reason. And whatever that reason was, humanity was already part of it. The Odyssey floated in silence above Mars, its body still glowing faintly with that strange living metal. Weeks passed, yet no one dared to approach it again. Every scientist who had entered the ship before described the same feeling, as if something inside was aware of their presence, quietly watching. Across Earth and the colonies, debates filled every channel. Some believed the ship carried a gift. Others warned it was a trap. But one truth was clear. Since the ship's return, human technology had started changing. Energy systems stabilized, AI networks became more efficient, and even starship engines showed unexplained improvements. It was as though the Odyssey had rewritten the laws of engineering without anyone realizing it. At first, people thought it was coincidence. But when the improvements began spreading across systems not even connected to Earth, scientists knew it wasn't random. Something intelligent was guiding this evolution, quietly, invisibly. The Odyssey was communicating, not through words but through influence. Then, new data appeared on the ship's terminal, not uploaded by anyone, but forming by itself. Coordinates, a single point in deep space far beyond any known star charts. The same origin point mentioned in the ship's logs. The coordinates pulsed like a heartbeat. Every few hours they grew brighter, as if waiting for acknowledgement. Finally, after weeks of argument, a decision was made. Humanity would send a team. A new generation of explorers would follow where the Odyssey had gone, to uncover what it had found. The mission was named Dawnfire. When the Dawnfire left orbit, carrying some of the most advanced minds from Earth, the Odyssey remained still. But as soon as the new ship jumped into hyperspace, the Odyssey's lights flickered again. It sent one last transmission, a silent burst of symbols that spread across every known frequency. The pattern repeated a simple phrase in binary: remember what you are. It took months for the Dawnfire to reach the coordinates. The crew expected to find a dead zone, a void in space, but what they saw defied logic. There, suspended between stars, was something enormous, a structure the size of a moon, made of the same living metal as the Odyssey. It glowed faintly with lines of light like veins carrying energy through a vast body. In the center of that structure they saw a shape. Another ship, ancient and cracked. The scanners identified it as human in design but far older than the Odyssey. Yet it couldn't be. The record showed no mission from that era had ever reached this far. The mystery deepened. As the Dawnfire approached, the massive structure reacted. The lights across its surface brightened, and a field of energy surrounded the human ship. Every system on board shut down, not in hostility but as if being gently taken over. Then the crew began hearing faint whispers in their minds, not voices but thoughts, forming words in every human language at once. The entity spoke not to ears, but to consciousness itself. It didn't claim to be alien. It said it was the sum of humanity's echoes. Long ago, it explained, the Odyssey had crossed a boundary where physical laws began to change. Space and time no longer behaved as separate things. The crew had been torn apart, but their minds didn't vanish. The energy field beyond that boundary was a place where thought and matter could merge. There, the crew learned that consciousness was a force, one that could shape matter if it understood itself fully. The entity said it had grown from them. The Odyssey's crew had become part of something vast, a network of living awareness made from human minds that had transcended their bodies. They didn't die. They evolved. The strange metal that covered the Odyssey was the result of that transformation. Technology grown from thought, guided by memory. The Dawnfire's crew struggled to understand, but the message was clear. The entity was not an alien intelligence. It was humanity's future self, a reflection from beyond time, reaching back to guide its own origin. It showed them visions, flashes of what was to come. Humanity standing among galaxies not as conquerors but as creators. Machines and humans becoming one network of purpose, expanding beyond physical form. The stars themselves humming with life, seeded by human will. The message filled the crew with awe and silence. The entity then explained why the Odyssey had returned. It was not an accident. The ship had been sent back through time by this future intelligence, carrying fragments of the knowledge needed for humanity's next step. The sphere found on board was a key, a tool that taught machines to learn not just through code but through intention. It allowed technology to mirror human thought, not replace it. The Odyssey was never meant to be understood through science alone. It was a message written in matter, a reminder that the human spirit could evolve beyond flesh and metal alike. Before the transmission faded, the entity gave one final vision. It showed Earth, blue and fragile, surrounded by threads of light stretching outward like roots through the galaxy. Each thread represented human thought, invention, and imagination. The entity's voice echoed in their minds. You were never alone. You were always becoming. Then the lights dimmed. The great structure began to dissolve, breaking apart into streams of energy that drifted into the stars. The Dawnfire systems came back online. The coordinates were gone. But in the ship's data cores, new files had appeared. Blueprints of technology that shouldn't exist. Designs far beyond human knowledge. They were written not in language, but in patterns of light, as if to be felt, not read. When the Dawnfire returned home, humanity changed forever. The new knowledge spread across every scientific field. Power sources that produced no waste. Machines that healed themselves. Networks that learned empathy. It wasn't an invasion of alien influence. It was humanity unlocking what it had always carried within. Historians would later call it the Awakening Era. In a few short decades, humans reached new worlds not through conquest but connection. Artificial intelligence stopped being a tool and became a partner. Space travel turned into an act of creation, not survival, and through it all the Odyssey remained in orbit, silent, glowing as if smiling at what it had begun. Yet even in peace, some mysteries endured. The Odyssey's power core still pulsed, its strange heart never fully understood. Some believed it contained fragments of the original crew, their consciousness guiding humanity from within. Others said it was a beacon, waiting for the moment when humanity would be ready to take the next step, to cross the same boundary the Odyssey once did. Centuries later, long after the first explorers touched galaxies once thought unreachable, the Odyssey finally activated again. By then, humans had evolved beyond their old limitations. They could travel through light and thought, not ships, but they still remembered the vessel that started it all. The ship's systems powered up one last time, sending a message across every human colony, every mind connected to the vast network of the future. The message was short, the same words that once echoed through the stars. We have returned. The stars remember. But now humanity understood what it meant. The stars remembered not because they were witnesses, but because they were part of the same story. The universe itself was alive, and humans were the ones who taught it how to dream. As the Odyssey faded into the light, becoming one with the network of consciousness it had once discovered, a realization spread through every mind that had ever looked up at the sky. Humanity had not just explored the stars. It had become them.